News Talk 820 WBAP now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. Let's hear the latest to come out and say Joe stepped down. This is Senator Bennett, Senator Michael Bennett from Colorado. He's a sitting senator. And listen to this with CNN.
Dana Bash reported that you, Senator Jon Tester, and Senator Sherrod Brown all said during that lunch that you don't think President Biden can win in 2024. Is that true?
Well, it's true that I said that, and I did say that behind closed doors, and you guys and others asked whether I had said it, and that is what I said. So I figured I should come here and say it publicly.
Why do you think he can't win in November?
I just think this race is on a trajectory that is very worrisome if you care about the future of this country.
Yeah, so it's not about Joe Biden's health, his inability to perform the duties. It's just about the numbers, the election numbers, the chances. It's quite the time to be alive. Look at this on both Fox and CNN. Everything's about Biden's infirmity, the infirmities. Breaking news, quote, Democrats stunned by Joe Biden's, what do they say, his, the amount of people that have come out to continue to hear. Dems stunned by how rapidly things unraveling for Biden. Well, you have it's turning into almost insurmountable, but he will not get down. He will not step down. He will not. I repeat, he will not step down. He will not. Somebody said today Nancy Pelosi is going to have to do it on Fox. I don't know, man. Today she made it clear that she doesn't support him anymore without saying it directly. Here's that one right here.
It's up to the president to decide if he is going to run. We're all encouraging him to make that decision because time is running short.
What do you mean? He already made the decision. He put out a letter the other day saying, stop this. I'm running. It's unequivocal. What's wrong with you? Well, she's sending the message that he needs to step down but do it on his own. Let me share this. I'm sorry. I got to do one more thing here before I get back into the Alzheimer's. I want to kind of intertwine it with this other topic. I want to involve in this too. Who do you think is running the White House right now? Do you think it's Joe Biden? Do you think it's Barack Obama or someone else? 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. I'm going to share this with you. My friend Eric Erickson, who used to fill in for me, and Rush quoted him all the time before he passed for years because he's that good at what he does as a writer and a blogger. And he says that there's no way in heck it's Obama running the show. He is not. They hate each other. After Joe Biden was overlooked after Obama picked Hillary to be his successor, Joe was super angry, and then when Hillary lost, Joe said, I knew I could have won, and Joe said, I was younger, I could have done it then, and now I won it, but I'm falling apart. And so I'll read a few sentences from what he wrote today. The Biden team feels betrayed by Obama backing Hillary in 2016, believing a sharper, younger Biden could have easily beaten Trump that cycle. The Obama team believes Biden is responsible for the pending election wipeout because they allowed this disastrous presidential debate to happen. Many of the Obama guys are ratcheting up the public and private pressure for Biden to step aside, but also they know they're the faces of the efforts. Biden will dig in his heels if they know it's Obama's people. These two sides hate each other. I know Biden and his team are still in charge, he says, because the chaos in foreign and domestic affairs is exactly what I would expect from a declining 81-year-old with dementia surrounded by a group of arrogant advisors whose arrogance is only rivaled by their incompetence. Do you really think things would be this chaotic if Obama was really in charge? Only a dementia patient who works from 10 to 4 would come up with the conflicting and incoherent policies on everything from the border to energy to Israel to crime to the economy. This is Joe Biden and Joe's handpicked people at work. And by the way, he says those that offer up Susan Rice as a proof that Obama's in there. It's been over a year since she left. There's no apparently former top Obama officials in there anymore. So. And then you see President Hussein Obama and his surrogates all sending the message In fact, 3 top Obama bros, they're called. These are the guys that host Pod Save America. They're former 3 top I can't say top, but 3 staffers of Obama's administration that have been doing a podcast for years now, successfully on the liberal side. They've all said step down too. So Axelrod, all these people, those are all Obama people. So he's digging in his heels more. He ain't going nowhere. He will not. Now, I want to give out that number. Who do you think is really running the White House right now? Joe Biden, Barack Obama, or somebody else? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. I think that, I don't know if you caught this earlier, I shared with you that not a Dr. Jill is now attending the Oval Office meetings along with Hunter. They're advising, they're running the presidency, I do believe, and they're reminding Joe of what he agreed to, what he said he wanted to do in his lucid moments, and they're running the show for him in the moments he can't do it. That's what I believe, them and the advisors he has picked to be around him, and they're Biden advisors, not Obama advisors, and they ain't going nowhere because they have everything to lose. That's why they've been covering this up, because they ain't got no job after this. All right, now. So the number is 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. Lines wide open. Chime in right now. Who do you think's running the White House? Joe, Obama, or someone else? I want to add in Alzheimer's that we've been talking about and continue to allow you to call in and if you tell us if you believe that Joe Biden has Parkinson's, what signs do you think he has that show he does, and have you had loved ones with symptoms of this or dementia? Are you seeing things in Joe that you've seen your loved ones have issues with? Now, here's another article to share with on that. Parkinson's experts from the Daily Mail today. Parkinson's experts reveal how bad Joe Biden's health could get over the next 4 years. A neurologist in Virginia who's treated hundreds of patients with Parkinson's, a neurologist at University of North Carolina, and they said the president has a laundry list of hallmark symptoms of the condition, from stiff gait and balance problems to a quiet voice and mixing up his words. I remind you, at the Four Seasons in New York, this past several months or so, last year he was at a fundraiser. He forgot what the word veteran. He forgot, he didn't know what to call our military people, veterans. He said, what was the word in the middle of the speech? He doesn't even do these small gatherings in people's homes or these fundraisers without a teleprompter. He doesn't speak to 15 people in a room at a high dollar event without a teleprompter. 15 freaking people I read today. But these experts say on Alzheimer's, these doctors say that within 5 to 10 years of diagnosis, patient's speech becomes increasingly soft and slurred. Walking becomes harder. So this is what we'll see more and more of by Joe in the next several years. Walking becomes harder. Patients are also struck with persistent tiredness. If patients are not treated and the White House claims they claim he's not being treated, then they can deteriorate much more quickly. Over the next 12 months, and I want to posit this for you. Is it possible the Parkinson's doctor has been seeing Joe at his house in Rehoboth Beach or at Joe's house in Delaware when he goes for those weekends, those long weekends? Is he going there? Are they meeting him there so they don't show up on the White House visitor logs? I don't know. Think about it. It's possible. Over the next 12 months, doctors warn the president would likely continue to suffer from more of the same symptoms that happen more frequently. So that's more falls, more cognitive impairment. I saw him freeze at Juneteenth. It's just more of that, really. Within 3 to 4 years, the doctors warn that Biden could be at risk of other complications. Listen to this. It includes long and wakeful nights where he struggles to get sleep, as well as suffering from nightmares and hallucinations that make him increasingly fatigued and confused during the day. And this is hard for me to read because a man I love, my dearest mentor and of all time and always will be, has Parkinson's. It's hard to see this. And I'm sorry for our loved ones who go through this. It's terrible. Long wakeful nights, struggling to get sleep, suffering nightmares and hallucinations, making you increasingly fatigued and confused during the day. It's also possible he declines to such a point where he's not there much anymore cognitively, meaning he would seem aloof, distracted, and struggle to engage with aides and advisors. It kind of seems like we're halfway there. This is so serious. Bill in Pennsylvania calling in, and it'll be interesting. He's calling in from a swing state. So, Bill, you stand by. We're going to take you right out of the box coming up next, plus your call. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Who's really running the White House right now? Who do you think? And do you think the president has Alzheimer's? What are you seeing that tells you yes? Maybe you have a loved one that has it or had it. All that next on the Chris Crock Show. 4 lines open. Chime in right now, 800-288-WBAP. I'm also coming up next going to talk about this editorial in the Journal today, the doctors and Mr. Biden's decline. All that next on the Chris Crock Show, WBAP.
In response to those comments from George Clooney, Jake, a campaign official who attended that Los Angeles fundraiser tells me that George Clooney left 3 hours before the president. So clearly, the gloves are off. Jake?
But what does that mean that George Clooney left 3 hours? What's the point?
The point of that is to suggest that Biden's stamina is better than Clooney's, and Clooney didn't have, eyes on the entire event. That's the response to the Clooney op-ed.
Okay.
And there it is. They're mocking him on CNN, and in fact, Joe is now attacking George Clooney. That evil George Clooney. Joe, don't listen to George Clooney. You listen to me. I'm a doctor, and I'm your wife. You're doing a great job, Joe. The White House physician Kevin O'Connor issued a statement Monday evening saying that Dr. Kennard, the Parkinson's expert, was there to see Biden 3 times as part of his annual physical. Yeah, 3 times. And he says there's other visits where regular neurology clinics for White House military personnel. Oh, absolutely. Because, the regular White House military people, they get treated for all their health care needs at the White House, right? While Joe's in the Oval Office. Hey, Joe, did you hear that? This guy's got a bad knee. Like, yeah, right. You think there's doctor's visits going on next to Joe in the other room? What, with his some military people? No. Yeah. He says Biden's physicals produced no findings of neurological disorder, and added Biden hasn't seen a neurologist outside of his annual physical. And the Journal said today that last point is a scandal if it's true. His cognitive ability has clearly declined, as he showed in the debate. The press is now reporting there's been similar episodes behind closed door. Could it be that Biden was showing these symptoms, was allowed to work at a campaign for a second term without a battery of neurological and baseline tests for mental competence? Millions of American families have had difficult conversations with signs of mental deterioration they've had to deal with. Why hasn't the commander-in-chief pushed to do the same, test that we do for our loved ones when we see something? Right? There you go. So the president is asking for Americans to elect him to serve until he's 86, despite manifest evidence of physical and mental decline. The cognition cover-up can't continue, and it should be disqualifying if it does. Yeah, the entire Democrat administration, Kamala's done, too. I think Kamala's done because she's been lying. She's been covering up. She said, Joe is great. I'm sorry. Joe's great. Oh, no, hold on. Joe is great. He is doing a great job. He ain't got no dementia. Keckle and Kamala. Bill in Pennsylvania, you've called in at 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. Hello, Bill, in the swing state of Pennsylvania.
Pardon?
Hello, Bill, in the swing state of Pennsylvania. Thanks for listening to WBAP.
Hey, this is Nate. I picked you up on the internet here, and I'm driving down the highway, and I'm enjoying your show.
Thank you.
I have a whole nother theory on this. I have a couple points. One, I can see the one thing that would get Joe to step down. If he said to them, I get to pick my successor and I only, and then he picks Jill. Now, I know there's hurdles there because you got the campaign finance money to deal with, and you would have the black women's vote.
Oh, yeah. Up in arms for not picking her.
But I'm just saying from Biden's standpoint. I mean, Jill's out campaigning. I said she's out campaigning as much for herself as she
Yes, that's exactly right. You're exactly right. You are exactly right. This is about her.
That's what she... and the whole Vogue magazine thing.
Well, she's a hero. I mean, she married this man. She's been with him for she's just a hero. That's all she is. She's amazing. And by the way, she's a doctor. She's a physician. She could clearly, if you're a physician, you're clearly qualified to be the president.
Well, she's already expressed, she's caught by the trappings of the fame here. She's on record as saying how she loves when they get to run through every red light in Washington.
Let me mention something else to you too. She already really is the president. She's attending the Oval Office meetings. She's running the show behind the scenes, and she's the chief architect of the cover-up.
Well, who was running it during the Afghanistan withdrawal?
It's obvious that the incompetent administration that he put in charge with his incompetent policies.
Well, I think we just figured out now it must have been George Clooney. But I have another.
Don't you love how Biden's throwing George Clooney under the bus today? Isn't that great? He's attacking George Clooney.
I just heard you talking about it.
Isn't that great? Let me ask you one thing before I can't let go of your call before you tell me you're in Pennsylvania. Honestly, don't get too excited. Don't get the Trump glasses on here. Take them off and tell me if you actually think he's going to win Pennsylvania.
If it's an honest vote, yes. Yes. With the numbers that he's picked up, if the 25% of black following now is correct, yes, he will carry Pennsylvania. And I love the fact that he's going into the swing states, and I want him to keep going into the major metropolitan areas. If he can pull off, 10% of that inner city vote in all of these swing states, that'll be enough to carry the state.
Right now, he does have. Biden only has 71% of the black vote. Last election it was 90%. It's amazing. Let me just share this with you real fast. The Real Clear Politics average, unfortunately. Now wait, I'm looking. These are some old ones. I need to get a newer one. I'm gonna look at Real Clear Politics because I need to get a more updated one.
Hey, let me cut in on something. I've been trying to
30 seconds. I gotta let you go in 10 seconds. Go.
Okay. I want the Trump people to come out and announce that Trump will only debate Joe Biden in September because he's the one that is destroying the country. If it's anybody else, if they send Kamala, then Trump will send his vice president. And I think now it's going to be Marco Rubio, since there's more registered Hispanic voters than there are registered black voters. And with what's coming across the border, I think Marco's a solid pick. He speaks Spanish.
I got to roll, but I appreciate you very much. Got to let you go. Thanks for your call. Trump is up 5.3% in the Real Clear to Politics average of the latest polling. Wow. I'll give you more details on that next. Wow. All right, coming up next, Chuck Todd tells everybody in the news today all of a sudden that Biden cabinet secretary told me Joe can't run again like this 2 years ago. What? All that is next on the Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. I do want to add that Fox News' Bill Melugin says that the Biden administration is not deporting more than Trump. He says, no, he's not. He's in response to Reuters saying Biden's now deporting more people than Trump. He says, no, Biden's not deporting more than Trump, and it's not even close. In a tweet the other day, in fall 2018 to 2020, Trump's last 2 years, 709,000 deportations under Trump. In the last 2 years of Biden, only 273,000 deportations. So it's almost 1/3 of what Trump's numbers were in his final 2 years. And he says that's straight from ICE data. This article in Reuters attempts to count returns, quote unquote, as deportations. They're not. They bounce back. He says what they call them. He says they're bounce back. They just put them right across the border of Mexico and say that they've been deported. But no, they can just try right again, too. So it's not deportations in I'm flying you to Puerto Rico, or not Puerto Rico. I'm flying you into Haiti because you're an illegal. I'm flying into Venezuela. They're just bouncing it back on the other side of the border, and they come right back, and they just keep going. As you know, they didn't spend 10 grand with narcos to get pushed back in Mexico, and they go, okay, see you later. I'm gonna spend another 5 grand going back home. No. So the numbers of almost 1/3. So Reuters report is not accurate, according to Bill Melugin, Fox News. Just wanted to share that. Hour number 2.5. 9:30, of course, and we're in the middle of it right now, aren't we? With the Joe Biden chaos. And look at this. Here is, got so much audio to play for you. Here is Senator Richard Blumenthal just the other day. Listen to this.
I am deeply concerned about Joe Biden winning this November because it is an existential threat to the country if Donald Trump wins. So I think that we have to reach a conclusion as soon as possible. And I think Joe Biden, as the Democratic nominee, has my support.
Well, here's the thing. He literally did a U-turn from the day before, like a day earlier. He said he's got to step down. Then now he goes, well, he's got my support. So complete U-turn. In fact, look at this, guys. From the Wall Street Journal, they are keeping the actual. They're keeping track. Leave it to them to have a ticker on who has supported the president, who is not, like the count, the number. This is why Joe Biden's not going anywhere. Are you ready? Let me ask producer Garrett 2, the inimitable, the esteemable producer Garrett 2, who's done an amazing job. Okay, take a guess how many congressmen have said he needs to step down. Out of, I don't know the exact amount. You got, let's see, 189, 193, about 213 Democrat congressmen, okay? Roughly. Out of the 213 Democrat congressmen, not including the senators, how many want him to step down have said it directly? Take a guess. Good job. He guesses 10. It's 9. Dude, impressive, young Jedi. 5 expressed concern and 20 have come out and said he needs to stay in the race. So it's 2-1 stay in the race. Nobody's calling him. Basically, 9 people out of 213 is nothing, right? It's nothing. Not even, it's like 5%. That's nothing, guys. How about in the Senate? I won't play the guessing game with producer Garrett. Out of the Senate, Democrat senators, there are roughly 47. Okay, there's 47 Democrat senators. Only one is called for him to step down. And I want to see who that is. I think it is Senator... let me see here. I'm trying to see. This is an interesting list. It's hard to go through it all. I think it was... actually, I don't even know. I can't tell who's who on this. It's a long list. But one senator has called for him to step down. So, no, it's not happening. 9 congressmen and 1 senator. So there's no huge thing. Now, look, it is massive. It's a mountain. It's becoming more and more ridiculous at how bad it is. But he's the only one that can do this. He's the only one that could step down. And he's not going to. I've told you that from day one. He will not. And trust me, I know it's getting ridiculously over the top, but he won't do it. He doesn't have to. He won't. Not a Dr. Joe won't let him, and Hunter won't let him, and nobody else does. That is in his family or his immediate sphere or universe. Now, I want to ask you this. Chuck Todd, who is the top political reporter and senior political analyst reporter, wherever he is, he's at the top of the game for NBC News. Fake news on NBC. He came out and said all of a sudden today in his podcast that I don't listen to, but it's been covered widely for obvious reasons I'll share with you now. He says the Biden, a senior Biden cabinet secretary told him 2 years ago, Joe can't run again like this. This White House had to drag it out of him. They had this neurological test. They have no credibility left on this topic. I'm not going to go He says, I'm not going to out the cabinet secretary, but I had a cabinet secretary 2 years ago, all out of the blue, ask me, do you really think he can't run again like this? And Chuck Todd said, I said, well, you have more interaction with him than I do. And then they said, I don't have a lot of interaction with him. This is a pretty senior cabinet secretary, and this was 2 years ago. He says it's the classic open secrets, a non-conversation. It's the story everybody knows. No one was. Everybody was afraid to talk about. Well, no, you covered it up because you wanted Joe to win and you hate Trump. And now you're holding the bag because you guys all lied to the country and to the world. So one of the greatest, it's like possibly the greatest cover-up of all time of a president's issues. It's incredible. You know, they say this is worse than Watergate. This actually is. So do you believe there's been a total cover-up from the top to bottom on Joe Biden's condition for multiple years now? I sure do. But what's unbelievable is how much the media has covered this up and lied and mocked us. Look at this. You're not going to believe this. I mean, you remember this stuff, but it's another thing to actually read it to you. You want to get your breath taken away at how disgusting this is, how much they lied to us. This from reporter or columnist Drew Holden. And it's about 4 different headlines with sub-headlines from the top publications out there from the liberal left. This is... Oh, by the way, our number, 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. Who do you think is running the White House right now? Do you believe there is a total cover-up from top to bottom on Joe Biden's condition for multiple years now, as I do? Do you believe there's been a total cover-up from top to bottom on Joe Biden's conditions for multiple years? 800-288-WBAP. Chime in right now. Lines wide open. Here's what the New York Times said. Quote, how misleading videos are trailing Biden as he battles age doubts. A flurry of recent clips, many of them edited or lacking context. The cheap fakes. Remember that? He says in the New York Times, how misleading videos are trailing Biden as he battles age doubts. A flurry of recent clips, many of them edited or lacking context, laid bare a major challenge for the president as he tries to persuade voters he has the energy for a second term. That was the cheap fake BS. PBS on June 21st. So what, guys, 3 weeks ago? President Biden has many adversaries in this year's election. There are his Republican opponent, former President Donald Trump, and the independent candidate Robert F. Kennedy. And then there is the distorted... You hear this? Distorted online version of himself, a product of often misleading videos that play into and reinforce voters' longstanding concerns about his age and abilities. PBS is right. New York Times is right. These are all cheap fakes. That was a 90-minute cheap fake. You know, the debate was 90-minute cheap fake. That's why I asked you that night after the debate. I'm like, was that a cheap fake? PBS also said this. The president has been, it goes on with, in the last 2 weeks, the conservative news outlets, the Republican National Committee, and the Trump team have circulated videos of Biden that lacked important context and twisted mundane moments to paint him in an unflattering light. Among many things, they created the impression that the president... that he was off his rocker. So that's another cheap fake reference. They're all lying. They all lied. A New York Times review of these videos found that some scenes were cut short and taken out of context, while other clips were cropped in a way that omitted crucial details when compared with additional footage. So PBS lied, New York Times lied over and over and over again and they called it all cheap fakes. Here's another one. This is from Washington Post, cheap fact checker. Cheap fake Biden videos enrapture right-wing media, but are deeply misleading. See this? Just a couple weeks ago. This is June 15th, less than a month ago. Cheap fake Biden videos. The Republican National Committee posts a clip video. The New York Post, then the Telegraph and other pro-Trump outlets follow suit with the same deceptive framing. You got him, Washington Post. You got him. Your fact checker's right. He's amazing. These are cheap fakes. They say, I got more. I'm going to tell you about what they call the freezing clip, how that's been cheap faked. Associated Press interview about Biden dancing. And then they give the Pinocchio test to tell about how all the stuff we've been saying in the past several weeks and past couple of years are all lies. It's all cheap fakes. It's all fake. See that? How can they change their mind in a couple of weeks? How could this all be a revelation and then they're like moving on? They are all massive frauds and liars. They are liars. Your media is lying to you like the Pravda, like North Korea, worshiping a party and a concept and a man and covering up for him. He is the emperor with no clothes. He is the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain, and the curtain's been withdrawn, opened up, and we see this man, who he is. And they all lie. It's disgusting, isn't it? Okay, so do you believe there's been a total cover-up from top to bottom on Biden's condition for multiple years now? Next, also, but Clooney says, ... Well, we're going to get into this. Do you think the number of Democrats calling on Biden to stop will actually become so high he'll have to step down? Next.
I will tell you that one of the president's closest friends thinks that Joe Biden should go up to Walter Reed, have a complete neurological exam, release the results, and let the chips fall.
Okay, that is a biographer for Biden coming out and turning on him too publicly on a fake news CNN interview. When I say fake news, I mean fake news. I'm asking you this. Do you believe there has been a total cover-up from top to bottom on Biden's condition for multiple years now? And one of the biggest culprits beyond Joe Biden, his family, and his the White House, his team, it's also the media. Look at this. Are you ready? The Washington Post fact checker, continuing on from this, this is unbelievable. Pinocchio test. The use of these clips, they were talking about cheap fakes. They were talking about a lie for Joe Biden freezing up, all this stuff, being helped off the stage. The use of these clips is an especially pernicious couple of examples of manipulated video. What we label isolation under our guide to manipulated video, because they have a guide, guys. Is that guide still up today? It'll guide us through the truth. They literally say because it's intended to create a false narrative. This is the Washington Post fact checker. Because it's intended to create a false narrative that doesn't reflect the event as it occurred, the RNC and its avid followers in the conservative media get 4 Pinocchios. That means that's the worst lie you could possibly do. All those lies about Joe are all lies. It was cheap fakes. It gets worse. Seeing is believing, the AP says, not necessarily when it comes to video clips of Biden and Trump. Going on, the AP said Joe Biden's simple act while commemorating D-Day gained more attention, blah, blah, blah. The clip was the first of at least 3 out-of-context trimmed videos, long been standard practice to spin moments, real moments, to make them look bad. And yet the recent spate of misleading videos amassed millions of views shows the reach of social media concerns about Biden's age. Quote, the AP goes on, any misinformation that seems to reinforce or resonate perceptions or dominant narratives, whether they're accurate or not, is very effective. Professor at Northwestern University Media Studies. These clips have especially been effective at activating concerns about Biden's competency, but because he's looking the oldest sitting president the U.S. has ever had, he moves with more difficulty than he once did. Associated Press lying. Then you have this AP fact check focus. Biden's pause as he left a star-studded L.A. fundraiser becomes a target for opponents. That was when Joe Biden, then Hussein Obama walked him off the stage. Remember that? They're saying the same thing. Associated Press lied about that. I can't read all these. It'll take too long. And then you've got another publication here. Let's see. The Wrap is another publication for politics. White House slams New York Post claim that Biden froze up during LA fundraiser. Biden known to have a stutter. Oh, he's stuttering. That's it. NBC News did the same thing. Misleading GOP videos of Biden are going viral. The fact checks have trouble keeping up. The lie is spinning in the 100-meter dash. The fact check is taking a stroll on the beach, so it's never going to catch up. So this is all. They've lied. Fake news CNN. Trump campaign seizes on misleading video to criticize Biden's mental state. Fact check. Fox News goes to war with the White House over cheap fake videos. Daily Beast says, making fun. CNN right-wing media outlets using deceptively cropped video at G7 summit. NBC News misleading GOP videos of Biden are going viral. Fact checks have trouble keeping. I mean, do you see this? Every one of them lied. And then the Biden debate, no more lies. The fact checks have flipped. Facts have changed. They're a bunch of freaking liars. It's disgusting, isn't it? It's sick. Do you think the number of Democrats who are calling on Biden to step down will actually become so high he'll have to step down? No, I don't think so at all. Our number is 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. By the time another fatal blow hits, when another fatal blow hits Joe Biden, it'll be too late. It'll be too close. It's already too close. It's over. It was like 250-something when LBJ stepped down and 150-something when the other guy stepped down. For there's two of them that have stepped down. This is like it's 42 days. It's over. All right, I want to tell you something else, too. By the way, coming up next, we're going to get into this. This is a great one. I want to hear from you on this. Political debate causing tension in workplaces, a survey finds. What have your discussions been with your Democrat friends, your Democrat coworkers, family, all of your people in your sphere, family, friends, coworkers? What have your discussions been like with your Democrat friends since Biden's horrible debate performance? I'm going to tell you what my very liberal but dear friend for my whole life, for the most part, in Chicago when we met face-to-face together, what he said. Okay? That is coming up just in a little bit. That's next, actually, on the Chris Kroc Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3.